Hey everybody, it's Matt here, and I am here along with.
Tristan.
And today we are doing another episode of Friday Night Movies. This is take two, everybody.
It
Anywho,
totally wasn't because of the imminent alien invasion.
no. But what if? But what if? Okay, so, uh,
Just let
we
me
are
in.
talking about, speaking of that, Tristan, we're talking about Men in Black International. Before we even get to that, though, I want to mention that some of you guys, some of you longtime listeners, potentially, hopefully, you've made the transition with us over from Blog Talk Radio to Podbean. If so, thank you. If not, well, then you're not hearing this right now. So, I mean, I don't know what to say. What am I going to say to people who aren't listening? But anyway, so any new listeners, though, I want to say thank you all so much. This is the first one that we're recording for Podbean, although I have a feeling that it will not be the first one to appear on our Podbean alongside all of our archive stuff and also just some other backlogged stuff that I was unable to put on Blog Talk Radio throughout the transition. Either way, Tristan, what did you think about Men in Black International? Failure or awful? Which there's nothing in but there's
Yeah, okay. What about, can it be an awful failure or
so first of all, I would like to note
no?
we're dicking around. This
Yeah.
movie was actually not as bad as I was told.
Yeah, no, I thought the same thing. Like
How
I had fun with it. It felt in line with the rest of the movies. I won't say it's the best Men in Black, no, but
Well, so
I don't
here's the thing though. And so what I'm curious about though is because I always look at it from the perspective of how much am I going to pay to watch this, right?
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
I have no problem seeing this on a streaming service or paying, because of physical media not being that expensive right now, paying not as much for a DVD or for a Blu-ray to
Right.
potentially own it.
Yeah.
But the idea of, and we've talked about this time and time again, longtime listeners know, I live in a part of New York where tickets cost, usually a movie ticket costs a lot. So to go to a movie theater, especially if this was in like 3D or something, I'm unsure if it was,
Right.
and to pay, $19 for a ticket, no.
Yeah.
Even 13, I'm like, I don't know. And that's kind of why I didn't really go see it. And also, there was so much out at the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's why this movie didn't do well, is that there was just so much competition at the time, if I remember correctly, that it was just harder to stand out. Because it did not do well, and critically it was mixed, but in the box office, apparently the budget was 94 to 110 million, and worldwide box office was 253.9 million. But that's worldwide. Domestically, it did not make back its budget.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, apparently domestically it made 80 million. Ooh, when its budget was 94. That's a big oof, Tristan.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why it did this movie, honestly, this I made this joke to you, Tristan, earlier before we began the episode. This movie could have been our generation's Citizen Kane. But guess what, Tristan? Guess what? It's a spin-off after 3 movies, and almost none of the actors from the first 3 came back in this one,
Right.
which shows you not that there was a fatigue with the Men in Black franchise, but the idea that it is not an actual franchise.
Right.
Even though I enjoyed this film, you were telling me before we started this one that you actually would be interested to see another one with these two.
Yeah.
But the
I mean,
question becomes, was this ever even going to work? Again, it could be amazing, but
right.
was it ever even. How could it entice fans and how could it entice people? And for some people, they go, is Will Smith in it? No. Is Tommy Lee Jones in it? No. Well, then I'll see myself out.
Right.
And it's really frustrating because it was a fun film, and I say fun because it didn't reinvent the wheel. It
Yeah.
isn't something that in some cases there was some stuff that actually did shock me, but other stuff I saw coming from a mile away. So yeah, but also what's weird too is that while the twists you could argue are meant for like maybe someone who's a bit younger wouldn't see them coming, there was a
Well,
fair amount of swearing where I don't know if I'd want to show the same child that saw, like, let's me as a child who saw Men in Black. I know you as a child, you were telling me when we reviewed the first one, you for some reason were like, I shouldn't be watching this movie, and your friends were like, what?
Yeah,
It wasn't like Scream or something. It was just Men in Black. But when looking at Men in Black International, it does, like, I wouldn't begrudge childhood you saying that
right.
with certain plot points and the swearing. And I know I sound like an old man at this point, but I'm talking about like a 7-year-old, not
Yeah,
like a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old, but like a 7-year-old. There was
right.
some stuff in here that I would be like, So it wasn't appealing to families, in my opinion, but then it also wasn't appealing to older fans who were like, no, I'm here for Will Smith shenanigans.
Right.
So that is the issue as well, I think. And then there are some issues with the film itself when you actually do sit down and watch it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel as if it just didn't click. It just felt like it was just some gimmicky spin-off. And maybe
Yeah,
that's why people were turned off, or yeah, turned off because they never even came to the
right.
viewings from the looks of it.
I mean, I feel like they kind of traded in some more action for a little bit less on the comedy, which
Well, I feel like it's less Will Smith comedy. There was still comedy. It just
oh
wasn't
yeah,
as like bombastic.
but yeah, I feel like I mean, granted, it's also the times that the movies were made too, so they can make the fights a little bit more fantastical, I suppose you could call it.
You mean now?
Yeah,
Okay. That's fair. I mean, also, I think they just, not even make him. They didn't try to rely on, like this weird wire foo thing going on.
right. Yeah,
Uh,
that's it.
yeah. It was only weird because it wasn't present in the first film, really. So it
Yeah,
just appeared in the second one, and I was like, who in the what now?
yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
yeah.
funny. I kind of feel like that was mostly a joke in itself to be like, yeah, what MIB agent doesn't know wire fu? Come on, guys.
Okay, that's fair.
Kind of,
Um,
Chris Hemsworth playing Agent H in this, which nice job, guys. Agent H. I was. It's the little things that make you happy in life.
oh, what made. Okay, so there was, yeah,
But
Agent H, Agent M, and then
the
Steve.
yeah,
I laughed way too hard at just when he says, "Oh, I'm Steve," and then when they laugh about it, Hemsworth goes, huh, "Steve, oh Steve," as if that's always been a thing.
right.
I do think that. So there were certain parts of the movie I don't know, I felt like the actors were a bit disconnected, and that kind of drew me out of it.
Mm,
But there were other parts where they were like on point.
right.
And
Yeah.
usually, not always, but usually it was between Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson.
Yeah.
They have very good chemistry. If you remember Tristan, I know you haven't seen the film, but they were both in Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
And Tessa plays Valkyrie. So seeing her there versus here, it's actually funny how different of a role it is. But she
Right.
had great chemistry with Hemsworth as Thor, so it honestly, to God, makes a lot of sense for them to be in this film. Also, the damn hammer scene,
Yeah. No, that was.
that or the mallet, but still,
Yeah.
it was it. I think it was funny. I think it
Oh,
worked well. I mean,
now, Hawks. That was an amazing catch.
yes.
I'm sure he was gonna throw it back at him and beam him in the head with it.
That would have been murder.
Probably, but
Yeah, I don't think this is, like you said earlier, the best movie in the franchise, but it has to beat out the third one in some respects, at least.
yeah, I mean, I feel like it's on par with the others, you know?
I mean, there's clearly a hierarchy, and the first one dominates.
Yeah, no, the first movie is still, I would argue, as well, still the best
It
out
is
of.
an apex predator, Tristan. Uh,
I
it is an apex. It is dominant, and the other one.
think you've ever used that as a rating for a movie on this podcast. Hey, Matt, what would you give this movie? It's Apex Predator. All right, Matt's seal of approval is on this one. It seems to be a different seal of approval for every movie, so I'm not really sure how the system works, but hey, it sounds cool, right?
I just imagine like a trailer guy voice. Just critics say the apex predator of America. What?
What?
What the fuck? What? No.
Honestly, I feel like a movie should do that because it would probably get people to be so confused enough that they would actually go and see it.
I now have to fund some films. Excuse me.
There you go.
I must take the $5 in my wallet and go fund some movies.
There you go.
It's called our YouTube channel. Anyway, I'm
The apex predator of America.
just gonna change our. I'm gonna change our name on Twitter to Apex Predator. Those Apex Predator guys. I'm gonna do this the second this drops.
Please don't.
Oh, just for a day, just because it's God. Anyway, we're getting off the rails here, but I, yeah, again, this is a movie that's you know what it is too. I think if people are looking for something very, very different and something new. First of all, weird movie to go to because it's a Men in Black movie. So at the very least, you're assuming that you're getting something related to Men in Black. But even putting that little nugget aside, it definitely is very by the books, and I think that is something that potentially for some people, for some audiences, could definitely deter them once they hear that.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I expected a little bit different, but again, not too much because then it's like, wait, this is not Men in Black anymore. Which, interestingly enough, I wish they would have expanded because it felt as if the Men in Black not was in shambles, but like the phrase "back in the day we would have hired her." I'm like, how are things going right now, guys? You don't sound well.
They were, and if you remember, their budget was so bad apparently that they'd been threatened to be shut down multiple times back in the day, in those golden days.
That too. Well, so I did enjoy the cameo by. I want to make sure I get the character's name right. By oh come on, Agent O, who was played by Emma Thompson.
Right.
She took over for when Zed passed. She took over
Right,
in the
yes.
third film. Yeah, this was a cameo. Did you not remember that,
Right. No, I mean, knew she
Tristan?
was.
It's okay.
No, I'm trying to think if I actually did remember or not.
Okay, it's been a
'Cause
long day.
yeah, no, actually, okay. I knew her character was important and vaguely familiar, and I thought I had seen her before, but it didn't exactly click. But now that you say it, yes, obviously it is.
I
It
now
is
have to resend him the scene of the funeral
right.
where
Yeah.
she
Okay. Yeah.
quotes,
Got it.
"Oh, classic Zeb, classic Zed." So yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, another thing too that was frustrating was that apparently Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, I think, were set to have some kind of cameo, but then couldn't.
Right.
And at that point, it's like those two guys that brought in the alien that she found. Could we have not had them just be stand-ins for Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith and had them dub them over later? Like as a cute little nod, because like my issue with any kind of cameo from older characters in a newer either spin-off or a newer movie is that they end up dominating it so much that I then don't care about the new characters as much, or I don't get as much time with them.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, I'm kind of happy that there was no Will Smith or Tommy Lee Jones cameo, because I think that it would have ended up dominating instead of being a nice little cute 5 minute thing.
Right. Could you imagine if they had just been like background characters when she first gets to the headquarters and she pets that alien
Oh
on the
God,
and the little
that
running around and you just see Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith trying to help people like gather them up, but nothing is said.
see people would have rioted there.
That's fair.
At least they would have had lines if they were, the two uh, agents that got into the car. When she like went through the force field.
Right.
Oh, by the way, so this movie subverted my expectations a few times. Tell me if you felt the same way. Twice, and I was very happy about it. Once was when when she walked into headquarters. She's like, "Amateur operation, am I right?" And I sat there and I was like, "Are they really just gonna let her go through?"
Are you Hey buddy, aren't you gonna call this in? Yeah, probably should.
Because like, yeah, of course they're there reading the newspaper as a watchman. Like they're just they know everyone to a certain extent of who's coming in and out of this place.
Right.
I'm sure they got, it's like they have the walkie-talkie. Like, you're not just going to have a guy sitting out there and
Right.
for some reason when something like this happens, nothing is called in. I was like, this is bullshit. I was
Yeah.
like, what the so I liked that.
Right.
Cause like some movies would just be like, yeah, like obviously she's so cool, quote unquote, like she's the only one to ever find it. That's awesome. But at a certain point you do have to admit, like, they have to have protocols in place for this.
Oh yeah.
So I get it. That was great. And then the second thing was I legit thought they were gonna go with another, well, okay. So not another plot, but you remember in the first few movies how every now and again they would do the joke of, look at this weird alien. Hey, aren't they like a minority? Yeah, I know, right? Weird, right? And I'm like, bruh. So, you know how that happened a few different times through not only the first two, but even the third one. And I'm like, bro, this is 2012. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the thing, Tristan. In this one, the villains being two brown dudes, I was like, oh, this is fucked. What in the fuck? I was literally like, do I have to comment on this again? Like we have been for the past fucking 20 years? Right. This is not the callback I wanted. And then it's revealed that they're actually the good guys and that they've been fooled the whole time. I was like, oh, that is social commentary. All right, fuck yeah. I'm in. Because, like, they took it out of New York. They brought it to Europe. And I'm like, okay, so that means we can have a wide variety of aliens. And then some of the first two that we see are black and, well, I believe I don't know if they're black or brown. The characters seem to be brown, but I believe the two actors are black. Oh, by the way, it actually was, they were twins, by the way. It wasn't just one person.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, no, initially one of the twins played the one character, and then he died, and then he was replaced by the shape-shifting duo, which are actual twins, Laurent and Larry Bourgeois.
Okay.
They're both French. By the way, those scenes where they danced, they're actually dancers, choreographers. So it was actually them dancing.
Nice.
Yeah. That's funny. They're oh my god.
Dance moves are so fine you leave after images.
Oh no, they were like that was some DBZ dancing.
Yeah. I'm like, is everyone in this club just like too
Well, no, they're all aliens.
Well, yeah, well, I mean not all of them were, but
it's weird. So Hemsworth said, some of them are, humans trying to be aliens. And I sat back and I was like, you better be joking me right now because no one's supposed to know about aliens, dick fuck.
Actually, that's fair.
So I'm assuming they're MIB agents looking for a good time, maybe. I don't know. So anyway, the reason why I laughed before you started, I said their real names, but apparently they're known as Les Twins. And I lost it. It sounds like a pro wrestling name.
You've got to be kidding me.
No, they are, because again, they're both from France.
I know.
Like they filmed in Europe. Yeah, so they're known as Les Twins.
Oh my god!
And I lost it. Although their nicknames separately are Lil Beast and Cablaze or Sablaze.
Right.
It's CA and then Blaze. That might be French. No parlez-vous. I know speaky. But anyway. So, either way, I was happy that they weren't actually the bad guys, because after a few movies of that happening, Tristan...
Yeah.
Again, to be fair, it wasn't that they were the bad guys throughout the first few movies. It was the simple fact that it's like, almost everyone who was a minority, it's just like, creepy, weird alien, right? And I'm like, look, I get it with the first one. The second one was only a few years later. And then in 2012, it was like, all right, guys, come on. It's not... What the fuck are we doing?
Right. Yeah.
So having a new movie come out in 2019 with that twist, I enjoyed it.
Right.
So that was cool. I sort of don't see, other than the cameo, I don't really see the connection as to why Thompson's character, Molly, Agent M, whichever, had to be from New York.
Right.
I get it, cameo. You had to do it. But I think then that puts too much burden on it being just like an Agent J situation when she is nothing like Agent J.
Right, yeah. Yeah, she's basically his antithesis.
she's basically Tommy Lee Jones's character, really,
Right.
just with a bit. It's weird because like it's a bit of a quirky drive passion that makes you think, all right, like it's funny because she was like, they thought I needed therapy, which I mean, like yes, but not
Yes,
for that.
but not for this.
No, it sounded funny, but
Yeah.
something that I really thought they were actually going to not address, but like yeah, like you clearly are a little off key, but it was just odd that they went, no, she's found her purpose, so everything's fine. And I'm like,
Do you really think a black suit is going to fix all of your problems?
mm.
No, but it definitely looks good on you.
She was like,
She's just like, I know you're playing me, but you're right.
I think she remembered the MIB dating protocol for a second there. She was like, can't do that.
Right, yeah.
Um, but yeah, so
Oh, that was great.
yeah, and I gotta say, I don't know, man. I feel like this movie's plot, again, while I could see it coming, it was
Right.
not subtle. I still like some of the twists. I do
Right.
not feel like they were subtle, but I still feel like it's, if we're comparing the movies, it's better than the third one. Now I know the third one had time travel, which normally makes it better than anything this series has had to offer so far. But
Time travel is kind of a double-edged sword.
and that became the issue. We already reviewed it, so we're not going to get into it again, but that became the issue. In
Yeah.
this case, not doing that, kind of doing like a shady like, well, what's interesting too is I'm intrigued, and tell me what your thoughts are on this, Tristan, that they went for, there's a shady conspiracy cover-up thing going on, but it isn't the whole organization, it's just like one person. I was like, that's that I think that I did not expect. That was the most shocking twist of the movie for me, other than the fact that the twins were not the actual bad guys.
Right, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I was actually really surprised it wasn't the organization itself, but I liked that angle as, a plot point for this movie because it's one of the only things we haven't seen in this series. It's like, what if MIB is actually having some problems internally? And it's not, the threat is not from space, the threat is ourselves.
Yeah, no, because that's the thing. Like, look, it wasn't done. It wasn't done subtly, like I said. So obviously, it was
No,
done
yeah.
in very action movie fare.
Right.
But I mean, like you said, where else can we go? Like, if they had
Right.
said, look up. Oh no, an alien invasion. I would have been like, wow,
Yeah, right,
ooh, original.
right.
So they had to do something
Yeah,
different, and I
it
think
felt like how Jurassic World for me. It was like, well, let's we've seen the park fail 3 times. Let's see it actually open this time, and then fail.
exactly. In this case, I liked it because there were some twists and turns. And again, the reason why I say I'm not trying to be snooty about it, but the
Yeah.
reason why I say like I saw it coming is because I mean early on you literally have the one alien who had known the prince who had known Hemsworth's character Agent H for so long, saying you're not the same man.
Yeah,
And you could argue that, that's a red herring because in this mystery he actually wasn't the culprit.
right. Yeah,
But being neuralized does fuck with you.
yeah,
They've said that before. And I don't know how many times he's been neuralized.
right. I would feel like it's only been that once, but
We would hope.
right.
Also, his breakup with
So
what was her name? The best character in the movie, Riza.
right. So
I
what
know.
Jay? Oh, I was gonna say quick. So what Jay has been saying this whole time, it's like you're gonna turn people's brain to soup with that thing. Come on, Kay, put that away. Let me just talk to them for once.
I mean, looking at Agent H, perhaps.
I mean, could also be the copious amounts of alcohol, but
We'll get to that a little bit later. I know you weren't the biggest fan of the intergalactic arms dealer subplot, but I think Riza is one of the best characters.
Oh yeah, no, I thought her character was cool,
Oh,
especially
okay.
when she pulls out a third arm and just goes, 3-arm foo.
Oh, I thought she had 4 arms.
Maybe no, I thought it was only 3. I
Okay.
thought she could like switch it from like side to side. I could
Oh,
have been
okay.
wrong, but that's how
Well,
it looked like to me.
my first thought was, we get it. The writers like One Piece. Especially with that DBZ after him and shit. I'm like, we get it.
True.
You guys watch anime. Uh,
Men in Black, the anime.
and it was a cartoon series for a bit.
True.
But so speaking of, because again, you weren't the biggest fan of the subplot because you thought the movie could have been cut by like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I felt like it was just kind of a step away from what was, you know, going on, like the main plot
But I
wise.
do think it tied in eventually.
Oh no, yeah, it did. It yes, that whole payoff that we got out of it, like okay. Um
But you think it immediately delved into I'm gonna be putting words in your mouth. It immediately delved into James Bond territory.
I mean, Agent H is he kind of feels like, a haha like to James Bond, but
Yeah, a more
it's like
subtle.
yeah,
He's a
because like
subtle
they
Austin
kind of made that
Powers.
joke about Kay at some points, but it was always more of a joke than anything else because like no, Kay was Kay, but here it's like yeah.
Uh, he's very, yeah. Anyway, um, before we get to him though, so what do you think could have been cut though? Because I really don't know what could have been cut without
Yeah,
us saying it would be too rushed, or we wouldn't know these characters, or I don't know.
right. I mean, I feel like the whole story, like, I like the idea that, Molly is, a young girl, she wasn't neuralized because they said, oh, our daughter's in the house, but she's asleep.
Yeah,
And she's the one who sees the alien, and that's how she basically gets into, like, hunting down
yeah.
MIB, trying to, like, search for aliens and stuff like that. It's a cool concept, but to have it be, the alien that was in her room that night be the bodyguard, like I knew it was gonna happen at some point. Like she's gonna meet this alien.
But it's funny. I knew it was gonna happen. Obviously, I forgot. And then when he was getting choked, and
Yeah,
then she's like, she said something, and I was like, oh no, oh my
yeah.
god.
It's yeah. Um, they
Well, even
said
before she said that, she like gave
that,
him a like she
wait,
squinted,
right.
and I was like, oh motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, that was the best that you said. The best line of the movie earlier to me. Is just when the arms dealer is just like, "You've got to be shitting me."
It's because of the way. So her the actress' name is Rebecca Ferguson. The
Right.
way she delivered that, it felt kind of tongue in cheek. Like even people watching are half
Right.
saying, "You've got to be shitting me."
Exactly. Yeah. No, that line was delivered amazingly.
And that's kind of why it to me felt like the best part, not the best part, but one of the best lines in the movie, because I mean I wasn't thinking it, but I have some friends who were definitely would think or even just say it aloud, and then she'd say it and they'd go, oh my god.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So I think it worked. um and but I do feel weird though because it does make the MIB seem generally incompetent. I mean, sure, there are always going to be people that believe in aliens no matter what, and then people who tell them aliens aren't real no matter what.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter about actually seeing them or being neuralized or anything. But it does feel a bit
Oh,
incompetent to be like, ah, well, daughter's sleeping, that's fine. Also because they didn't find the alien.
Yeah, that's what made me question that
Like
scenario the
maybe there
most.
were two of them.
I guess, but the fact that they didn't like, yeah, let's go check on that raccoon. I'm like, what? Why are you guys? Oh, don't worry about it. Go back to bed. It's like, what are you talking about? Aren't you going to go get the alien and make sure it's brought to somewhere safe? Like, what is this?
Yeah, that was very confusing.
Yeah,
And I I didn't expect to. I didn't also expect, and this isn't really a problem with the movie necessarily, but I thought they were just going to have Tessa Thompson, be in the UK, do
yeah,
her actual accent,
right. And I
and
mean,
when
I guess that's why like she's from Brooklyn in the set, like just for the sake of the title of the story, like international. It's like yes, you have New York and London, agents working together. But other than that, there's nothing really international about this movie. It's all basically just I mean, no, that's not fair because
Well,
they
no,
do
yeah,
go around the world once.
they did go to Bangladesh, yeah.
Right.
But what confused me though is like I it's not Tessa Thompson's fault. It just happens with anyone. Like if you got me a dialect coach to train me to do a British accent,
Right.
someone's gonna be mad.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at Tessa Thompson. What the fuck, right? That's silly. But you could tell that she was trying to rush some of the lines out. And like earlier on, like when she's on the computer, specifically she was walking past the Weekly World newspaper that she had on her desk or something. She was doing some research about something, and she's
Yeah.
talking, and it's like, again, some lines are like, yes, no, she is American. Other lines, it's like, not that you could hear the twang, hear her actual accent come out, but it's like, oh, you're trying to sound as regionless as possible. Because the thing too is, you're from Brooklyn, you sound a certain way.
Right.
Even though some people might hear me and they go, "Oh, I don't know where you're from," but yeah, every now and again you hear me say coffee, coffee.
Right.
Other types of words depending on how mad I get. Uh, it will, it will come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. I've gotten that before too.
yeah, because you have family. You have family from the international branch.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It. I have family in London, and when they come over, sometimes, like if I spend enough time with them, I start picking up their accents.
But no, but they tell you have an accent. And you're like, how dare you?
Yeah. Or
Um,
even just when I was out digging a while back.
right. Was it
It was
Kenya or
hard
was it
'cause-
in
No, not in Kenya, out in Utah.
right?
And they were like, yeah, it doesn't, you like, they knew I was from New York, but they're like, yeah, you don't really have the, New York accent. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, that's nice to know.
Also, I
Um,
would like to note, anyone who's confused, he doesn't have a job. He just flies out to places and just starts digging and meets people.
all right. Thanks,
Um,
Matt. You got to at me like this live on podcast.
no, what I'm saying is, it's not even like it's like something to put on a resume. You just get on a plane.
Well, it's volunteer work. So excuse me.
No. It goes on your resume, so it's a job. What I'm trying to get at though is it's not actually any of that. You just go to places unprompted and just start digging.
That's, that's actually a crime. That is not what I do at all.
I'm gonna call the FBI right now.
They're already here, Matt. They've got the neuralizer in my face as we speak. Who am I talking to?
Thank God the camera's not on. Anyway, I did not see any of that, so I'm good.
Our audience has been neuralized through sound alone.
Oh God, then they got us. At that point, we're screwed. Anyway,
So we started the podcast with nothing but our oh, I can't remember the model, and our wits.
so apparently Frank the Pug is not dead.
Oh,
Do you remember that? He was in the movie.
yeah. Oh, right. No, yeah. He was sitting next to the guard at the
Okay,
door.
I'm not referring to the original Pug that was in the first one. I mean the character of Frank the Pug.
Right. Yes.
I'm hoping the original Pug is not dead, but I feel like I saw an article somewhere and I cried for like a day.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, because if you remember, Tristan, in the third Men in Black movie, like Jay had like a huge photo
Right.
of Frank the Pug in the back, and it made me believe, because he was not in the film,
Yeah.
oh wow, I mean, even though he's an alien, he's also a pug, so like because I thought they made the joke all dogs and all cats are aliens or something.
Right.
I don't know if that was true or not, or if it was just a joke. So I thought they made that in the first or second one. So I was under the impression that I'm like, but dogs do die though. Oh God.
Right.
And he was just here. He was like, "Are you gonna call that in?" By the way, same voice, Tim Blaney, same voice as the original Frank. So it's
Right.
great that they got him back for that cameo. It's actually kind of funny that, like, out of everyone they got back for a cameo, they couldn't get Rip Thorn. He was still with us at the time, but his character had died.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure he did not cameo in this film at all.
Yeah.
Emma Thompson came back as Agent O,
right.
who I could swear she was only in the third one, but I'm probably wrong.
Mm.
and I'm probably super wrong. And then Frank the Pug. It's just kind of funny, the weird cameos we got.
I mean, you even got your favorite cameo though, Matt.
What?
The worms.
Right, of course. Duh, they're not on the cast list. Yeah, the worms. What did they said something that I texted to you.
Yeah, if you do that for too long, you go blind, and they all just start.
God damn it. Okay, no, because he's like, I caught him in the bathroom neuralizing himself.
Right. Oh gosh.
And I told him, and I was like, oh, these motherfuckers. All right.
That was the first half of the joke. Okay. Now, yeah. Because
Yes.
I had missed that, and I only caught the second half, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's the worms being the worms.
No, yeah, their joke was I don't know who they were talking about. I think they were talking about a coworker.
Right.
I caught like Billy or Bob in the bathroom neuralizing himself. And I told him, you keep on doing that, you'll go blind. And I'm like, oh god, that's great. Also, I love and don't love. In some ways I love it, in some ways I don't love it. How they took the concept of suspension, I can use words. Suspension of disbelief. And they said, you're going to suspend it for these 2 hours, you little shit.
Okay.
No, because initially, and this I actually was able to suspend my disbelief for. Oh, one of the trains, in our MTA, because remember, we're both from New York, everybody listening in. So, like, we take the MTA every day. So, or in something.
You do.
I do. But you've taken it enough to know that while there are a lot of hidden tunnels and a lot of like some trains go through some tunnels that are not used by the general public.
Right.
The idea of them being a system to go directly to the UK in under like 5 minutes. Yeah. Although to be fair, we don't know how long it took. It just in the movie we saw it for under 5 minutes.
Right.
It's a bit much, but I thought, you know what? Hey man, they can afford it.
Right.
It's not like people are going to get on that accidentally.
But can they? I mean, apparently they must have gotten the budget from somewhere, but I'm wondering where.
But here's the thing, Tristan. I will admit, though, yeah, you're right. Like, based on what the other movies have done, you would think there'd be some kind of focus on the actual organizations, and they kind of went with a shut the fuck up, it's fun mentality.
Basically. And
but
there's nothing really wrong with that, but
no, but here's where I was saying that the suspension of disbelief thing. This is what I meant about the suspension of disbelief thing, Tristan. Damn it, I'm going to get it one day, everybody. The fact that they kept on continuously getting into
Patchy, what are you doing?
Cars. Patchy is Tristan's cat, if anyone's wondering what is he talking to. Well, actually, the camera's not on, so you're not looking down while talking.
Yeah. No, she almost licked the microphone, so I was like, Patchy, what? Why? Why are you doing that?
I need to clean. All must be cleansed by Patchy. Anyway. Do you like the voice I've given your cat, Tristan?
No.
I don't like it at all. All right. The fact that they got into multiple vehicles that went flying. And we're just supposed to believe that's chill.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to get neuralized. It's like, no, they went into at random points, like at the end of the movie, and I know it's supposed to be a big moment, but at the end of the movie, another part of the movie when it was like, yay, we have to push the red button to go faster, and they did.
Usually,
it's happened before. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know. It's 2019. That's my whole shtick. It's 2019. You're telling me there isn't some like 24/7 vlogging YouTuber filming stuff while walking around with like a GoPro?
That was basically Molly, just without the GoPro.
That's fair. But it's not just Molly. Like, she's smart enough to actually know what she's looking for.
Right.
But there are other people that just aren't smart. They're just like, well, I mean, they might be smart in other ways, but they're just trying to record their footage to do their vlogs.
Right.
They're going to find it.
The fact that she has someone who works at NASA's login information.
Oh, no, she's like, I mean, it's interesting. Because like, they didn't set up how she got all of this knowledge, but to be fair, you can learn a lot of weird shit just by like trolling around online for long enough if you know what you're looking for.
Obviously knows tech and how to, navigate it. Like,
again, she's smart. She's great in her field. I mean, it's one of those things too, to be fair, where like, you could say this about any character so far in Men in Black because they really haven't delved into any of their backstories.
Right.
So I think anyone, which I haven't heard this online actually, which is nice, but anyone who's like, oh, she's like a Mary Sue, it's like every one of these characters so far has been one.
In their own way, yeah.
I mean, because think about it, right? Like Will Smith's big, or, Agent J's big thing is, his dad died when he was young, but that doesn't mean that he's a good MIB agent.
Yeah.
That doesn't groom him to be as intelligent as he is, as hardworking as he is, as, like, as not even hardworking, but being so driven to be able to chase down whatever the name of the alien race was in the first movie.
Yeah, right, on foot. And to have Kay be like, we need this kid.
Yeah. That's not due to his backstory that we learned in the third one. It didn't really add to it at all. So yeah, thankfully, like I said earlier, I didn't really hear anyone saying this, but it's stuff that you've heard from like Star Wars and Ghostbusters. So I would think it would be present here as well, but I genuinely don't think it suffered from that.
Right.
Like I don't think there was like this giant hate campaign for this movie the way there was. I think there were a lot of people, actually no, I know that there were a lot of people. I'm going to check it right now just to be sure. But I'm pretty sure when the first trailer came out, a lot of people downvoted or, disliked the YouTube video.
Right.
But I'm not sure if that means, if that's because of Tessa Thompson, because I don't remember what was in the trailers necessarily. Like, it might have just been general, this is going to suck.
Kind of felt like that's what it was.
Actually, okay, so one trailer has 60K dislikes, but with 335K likes, and the other one has 196K likes with 12K dislikes. So, I mean, I think maybe it was initially getting bombed with those dislikes, but over time, people are like, no, this actually looks fun.
Right.
We don't hate it. I don't know. I guess it depends on which video you're looking at too, and I'm not going to go through every single one.
Yeah.
Either way, no, it just doesn't. Like it.
I think it really boils down to this is not, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's part of it.
People just pieced out just because of that.
Yeah, I think that might just be it. Normally, I wouldn't say that. Because again, like we've seen what's been going on with Star Wars and, well, it's funny, with Ghostbusters, I would argue there is a certain amount of people who were like, man, I just really wish we got like original Ghostbusters 3.
Right.
Before getting a reboot of some type. But there were definitely people at the time who were like, no, it's bad because women. And it's like, okay. And then same thing, of course, with Star Wars. You and I have some of our, we've shared our feelings on The Last Jedi. I had issues with it, but none of them were related to the fact that Rose Tico exists and is a really fun character.
Right.
And you had some issues, but none of them were related to...
Yeah, no, it wasn't about Rose at all.
Yeah, either Rose or Rey.
Yeah.
So it is one of those things where, you can obviously have a different opinion, but there still are people that call themselves the fandom menace.
Ugh.
And they think of themselves as the good guys in all this.
Yeah.
And although I was confused, I was like, but you're naming yourselves after... What? I was a little confused. Anyway, but talking about this film, yeah.
You realize he was cut in half and kicked down an energy shaft, right?
That too. What confuses me, though, and this is where I think some stuff falls apart a little bit. So you have H, right? You have his friend tell him, you're not the same man.
Yeah.
But we never, like, are we supposed to just believe the neuralizer is the end-all, be-all explanation like I brought up earlier? Or... Because I get it. Red herring, maybe he's part of this hive. Maybe he's the one. Because, like, I'm sure you're supposed to think that. Because I was thinking that initially. Like I said earlier, I thought that he was part of it. It could be reversed, but I thought he was part of the hive.
Yeah, I thought it was going to boil down to, Agent M being the only one who wasn't, networked into this hive now.
Yes. Because it seemed that way.
Right.
And, even though it did seem like once you saw the Liam Neeson's character and the other character who had an issue with Agent H.
Agency.
Agent C, thank you. When
Yeah.
we had both of them disagreeing, I thought maybe they are going to do the standard. Oh no, he's running it, so he's fine. But everybody else, though, oh no. I thought they were going to go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting. One thing that I find odd, another thing that kind of like, again, certain things start to unravel. I don't know the ages of Agent H or M, but I feel like I'm supposed to be led to believe that they're very young. Do you get that impression as well? That they're like not teenagers, but that they're not like in their 30s.
No. Yeah, they're definitely in their maybe early, very early 30s, but most likely late 20s.
Oh, okay. Because they're both as actors, both Hemsworth and Thompson. They're both 36.
Right.
And if that is any indication to how old they actually are, that's way too old for, at least looking at H, to be this much of a swashbuckling dumbass. Like, it feels odd that he's been able to be this kind of pretty boy jackass for this long.
I mean, tell that to James Bond.
Fair. But also, it's never the same James, or is it? I don't know.
That's fair.
But that's a fair point. Also, to be fair, they have all, like, he uses more kooky gadgets to, and also he's not fighting aliens.
True.
In this case, like, I'm just saying that even if he was, because again, people are saying, oh, he wasn't like this pre the Hive.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like,
It makes you think, like, so was it the Hive?
was it the neuralizer? Or either way, how is this man still, like, because I thought, and I know this doesn't make any sense, but I thought because of the mocking earlier from Agent C to H, that Liam Neeson was actually H's dad. Because he makes the joke. He's like, oh yeah, you know, Poppy, like dad,
Yeah.
you know, daddy bailing you out again. Like, I legitimately thought it was like, because they both look similar.
Yeah.
I legitimately thought, I was like, oh, that's not usual protocol, but also we're not in America, so I don't know how things work around here.
Right.
Maybe he can have his son in the business. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in the U.S., we know how MIBs run. This is new.
That's
So
fair, but I don't think it would be that different.
I know, but I had no idea. And then later when it's like, oh, you were like a father to me, I'm like, probably should have said that earlier. Because again, the dad stuff, because it would make sense as to, I mean, now we know it made sense because it was easier to have him alive as the quote unquote hero.
Right.
So he constantly covered for him as part of the Hive. But earlier on, I thought, yeah, it's like a father-son relationship. But,
Yeah.
you know, because again, how could he consistently get away with this bullshit?
Right. Also, I'd like to take a moment just to laugh and be like, yeah, Neeson is the bad guy.
No way.
No way.
Episode 9 is going to... Episode 9 is going to bring back Qui-Gon as a bad guy just to fuck with everybody.
I will personally get on a train and deck you in the face if that comes to pass. Oh,
I will accept my royalty checks, Disney.
they can pay for your bill, your injury bill,
My medication. Um,
for the concussion I'm going to give you.
that's fair. That's fair. By the way, I loved all the pictures of previous Men in Black movies, and then one that was like, oh no, this is actually from the comic book because you technically can't, Men in Black 3 never happened.
Right. Okay.
Well, because that was the one where that was the third picture on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I didn't recognize them. I'm like, should I know who that is? Or is it...
I said third picture. I'm sorry. They only had 2.
Oh, right, yeah.
Whoops.
But yeah, I really that was a nice nod, at least, to have K and J in a photo on the wall, being like, yeah, no, these guys are the big time.
Yeah, I mean that was a big thing. I guess. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's funny. It's funny that they chose that picture because I would argue maybe. No, I mean it's hard. I don't know which one was more life threatening for the universe, the first one or the second one.
True.
But then, yeah, on the left, that I don't know about the background art. And to be fair, actually, no. I'm a dick. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm such a dick. Because I'm rewatching this now as we're talking about it. The background had the Eiffel Tower in it. It's the art from the two of them in this movie defeating the Hive. What, 5 years ago? Or
Right.
3 years ago. It was 3 years ago in Paris. Oh, I love how they took the Eiffel Tower into account because so many people have like conspiracies about the Eiffel Tower. I don't know if you've heard of these. That in pop culture, it's kind of become its own little running joke of like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like there was there was a French fan series that was they were fans of Super Sentai, i.e. Power Rangers. And so I'm just trying not to have to explain it again to everyone, but they were fans of it, so they called themselves the show Jushi Sentai France 5.
Right.
And literally because it's all meant to be a parody, literally in the opening of each episode, there's only like 5 of them created. In the first episode, they actually said like, oh, all of this was started when the man who created the Eiffel Tower, like as if it's supposed to be some like beckoning call or something. It was really funny. So I've seen it elsewhere too, but it's just supposed to be like there are, just like how every movie has their conspiracies,
Right.
the Eiffel Tower has one as well. The celebrities, I was confused. Maybe it's just me. The celebrities did not seem alien to me this time around. You know how every time they're like, oh, look at these weird celebrities?
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, because it was Donald Glover on there that she was like, oh, that one makes sense. I'm like,
Really?
I thought it was.
No. I mean, like I was saying to her reaction, like, really? That makes sense? How?
Yeah, no. Yeah, right. Me too.
Yes.
I was like, why? Okay.
Yeah, I was confused. I was like, I don't see
And
how this makes sense.
I don't remember who it was before him, but I
Oh,
felt
well, it was, okay, so it was 3 of them. I'm trying to look for them right now.
Yeah.
One of them was Ariana Grande. I guess I could see it,
right.
but it still is confusing to me. Even though, to be fair, Liam Neeson's character said, "Oh, it's always the one. It's never the ones you think." So yeah, Ariana Grande. Okay, I can't really see it. I'm gonna see who the second one is right now, and then the third one was Donald Glover, and that's the one she's supposed to go. Yeah, no, I see it, and I'm like, but how? Because like I know you haven't really followed his music much, but like I've seen his music videos. I've listened to a decent chunk of his library. At least that becomes music videos.
Right.
And then I've watched the movies that he's been in, or not really a lot of them, but I've seen bits here and there. You and I saw Solo. We did a review on that.
Yeah.
I don't see how he's an alien
Yeah.
outright. I don't know. Elon Musk, which was funny.
Yes. Okay. That
Fucking hilarious.
one I was gonna be like, all right, yeah, I got.
Also, on the next to Donald Glover.
Said, yeah, that makes sense.
Yes. Elon Musk makes sense. Next to Donald Glover is a politician. I don't know which one it is.
Right.
A British politician. That's not Jeremy Corbyn. I don't know who it is. That's not also, what's his name? I forgot his name. He kind of resembles Trump a bit, just with the hair. You know who I'm thinking of. Is his name Nigel?
Possibly.
Nigel. No. Nigel Farage is someone completely different. Then who am I thinking of? Oh, Boris Johnson. But again, it's not Boris Johnson. Yeah, I don't know who it's supposed to be on the right-hand side. And then the other ones are too tiny to see who's who.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, Donald Glover is like, I don't know, he's energetic and I don't know, he doesn't, again, like to say, oh, I get it. I know this might seem like a nitpick to some people. But when you hear about, like, we love David Bowie a lot.
Right.
But when we were told in the movie canon, oh yeah, David Bowie's an alien, I'm like, checks out. Checks the fuck out. It's not meant to be an insult. It's just that it genuinely did not make sense. In this case.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm not angry. I'm not like, they're being mean to my favorite musician. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
How have we went on for, like, what, almost an hour, and we haven't mentioned Steve? Or, I forgot the name, Pawnee?
Yes, Pawnee.
How have we not mentioned Pawnee and or Steve? Tristan, what... what are your thoughts on this little green thing? Voiced by Kumal Najani? Am I correct there? I love Nanjiani. So either way, I like what I've seen him in. He's really funny. He's also a stand-up comedian. You've probably if I send you him like his picture, you'll go, "Oh, I know who that is."
Yeah, right. I've probably seen some clips.
Exactly. So but what I found interesting was the fact that when I hear him, I'm like, oh my god, he's actually Pawnee. But did you like his? First of all, did you like Pawnee in general, and what did you think about his performance?
Yeah, I thought he was a good addition. I thought he was funny. Um, uh, at first, it started as like a slow burn. Like he had, some funny little quips here and there. But then when they're going back and forth fixing the bike in the desert, oh, he killed it. Like, just him having to um, talk to the other agent, him as the mouthpiece. That was great. That was on point.
It's funny. I think that's where he thrived the most because early on, when he made the Kanye joke, the joke was funny, his delivery was funny, but then he had to like scream and be like, "No, we were attacked," and I was like, "You don't sound like you're upset about it." It was, I don't know, like early on for some, I don't know if it was like his first time recording it or I don't know maybe this movie was rushed, but it did not sound good. And then slowly but surely his performance and his comedic timing, because again he's a comedian, gets better and better, and I definitely enjoyed his performance in the film. Was the character needed? No. Was it fun? Yes. Also,
Yeah.
to be fair, it showed how needed he was by the end because he fucking saved the goddamn the film. Literally, he literally saved Agent M.
Yeah, I really thought he was gonna die in that scene, and I was gonna be really sad.
I thought they were gonna find, because I was under the impression that that if a character is taken over by the hive, it either can be reversed, or once they didn't go there, I was like, oh, then that means that he's like dead. There is no version of him left.
Right.
So I thought maybe there was like some weird switcheroo, and he's been like, he, referring to Liam Neeson, has been like a mind inside that that like dimensional pocket,
Yeah.
and they were gonna remove him and switch it out or something. I thought that was gonna be the case,
Right.
and then out of nowhere, it was you have Pawnee, and I'm like, and he's like, I'm not gonna let another queen die, and I was like, I did not see this coming.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
Because at first I thought it was gonna be like, oh God, she's gonna die now because she was in the way of the fight, and it's like, no, no, no.
And I love the destiny always puts you where you need to be. I was like, oh wow, okay, huh.
So for a second, I kind of thought it was gonna be in a
Her
way,
death, her last thoughts.
well, like she would get absorbed into the hive, but then she would somehow be able to stop it enough.
She's
So
the good hive.
yeah, like she'd almost take control of it, and then they'd be able to shut it away.
But no, because sequels need to happen, Tristan. You want this horse to die? I mean, it's already dead, but do you want it to stop giving us money? Beat it, Tristan. Beat that dead horse.
Right.
So I enjoyed the film overall. Question, Tristan, did you play The Walking Dead season 2?
Um, a little bit of it.
Do you know who Reggie is?
It's been a long time.
All right. Did you see an episode of Game Grumps? Apparently, there was an actor named Paul Scheer on the same episode as Kumal Nanjiani.
Huh.
So you may have seen him. 2017 Game Grumps. You may have seen him.
Yeah, probably.
So anywho, that was the one thing I wanted to mention. I was like, yeah, we didn't even talk about Pawnee, something that I assume a lot of people our age did not like. And not because of Kumal, just in general, just having a CGI character running around with two heroes. I don't think that's. I mean, it's funny because that's Frank, but
Right. Yeah.
Frank has been grandfathered in. So
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned some of the humor, and I kind of agree with you here a bit, and I want to add in a little bit myself. Some of the humor with Agent H you did not enjoy. Like, some of it, spot on. Some of it you didn't like when it came to, was it Vargas?
Yeah. the basically when
Vungus.
H&M were going out on
Ha, H&M. The department store.
oh right.
That's funny.
Okay.
H&M, fashion and quality at the best price. I googled it.
Right. But that, yeah, just basically her calling him out and being like, hey, if you were going to use me as alien bait, just fucking say it next time. And it's like, yeah, dude, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, okay, because, like, it's wrong, so don't do that, you dickwad. But
Yeah,
I thought you were taking the phrase pimping to heart because I was messaging you, and I was like, to be fair, I think Agent H looks at himself as, like, a very James Bond kind of character, so it's like,
yeah,
hey, man, you gotta sleep with them to get it done, just sleep with them to get it done.
right, yeah,
But, of course, it's the issue that he did not bring this to her attention. It is her first day. You
right,
piece of shit. Which is odd because, again, it's played kind of for, like, oopsie daisy laughs when, like, that should be disqualifying for the entire movie. Like, that man should be the villain.
right,
That man should be high villainry.
yeah,
Just because it's like, oh, you're working towards this greater goal. Damn you. So it's odd that we're supposed to be like, yeah, no, this is the protagonist we like after, like, him not telling her
yeah,
that's like that's part of it that's weird for me. It doesn't break down to film narratively. It's just again, it's just a difference in opinion of who's writing it and thinking of what comedy is, because
yeah.
it wasn't really, and I don't think they even played it for laughs. The actors were
No,
doing it for laughs. They were just like legit straight laced, like, my bad. So I'm like, wait, so it's supposed to be comedy or not?
right,
And then even earlier on, something that I didn't really find necessarily funny. I mean, if
right,
Hemsworth's character wanted to do it, then, if Agent H wanted to do it, then that's fair. It's not, it's he's consenting.
right.
But I didn't know if the idea of, like, save me and then I will sleep with you, if that's, like, supposed to be like,
Oh, right, yeah,
cuz, like, it's not one of those, because there are some people that are true assholes who, and I hate when this happens, when someone who is a sexist will then go, but you have no problem with it happening to men.
oh god,
It's like, shut the fuck up, right?
yeah,
But genuinely, though, you and I, if this happened to a woman, would say, oh, this is horrible. This is not played up for laughs. This is some pretty fucked up stuff.
yeah,
So we also feel the same way talking about it happening to men. Now, again, if Hemsworth was just doing the general walk, or Agent H was doing the general walk of shame and he was into it, then I don't care.
right.
It's funny because it's the general walk of shame. We've all done that. Say, Tristan, don't leave me out. No, but seriously, general walk of shame, haha.
Right.
But if it's meant to be like, yeah, no, I didn't want this, but hey, I lived.
Because that's the thing with that. Like I felt it as a joke more for us in reality, it being Chris Hemsworth, because Chris Hemsworth. But not like thinking of it as the character. It's like, yeah, this doesn't really feel kosher.
Yeah, no, not at all. But again, if he wanted it as the character, I don't care.
Right, yeah.
Because you lived and you got some. I mean, it's really a win-win. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was into her from the moment he walked in. I don't know. By the way, I loved how
I feel like it was just to save his life, but that's just me.
I don't know. I mean, well, again, Tristan, you don't understand. Every one of us has had that walk of shame, and it's not because of who you're with. It's because of the time that you're leaving. It's also the fact that you weren't drunk. He was very drunk.
Right.
By the way, is it just me, or in the opening scene with Hemsworth, can you just see written on his head, "Narc"?
Oh my god. Yeah.
Literally, like, everything he's doing and saying, I'm like, wow, you are a fucking narc.
We don't do business with MIB.
Who
Yeah,
would want those assholes up in her?
Total bag of dicks.
And then just
And
MIB.
then fight. Immediate fist fight.
But yeah, so
But
either
yeah.
way, though, again, best movie of the franchise? No. Worst? Definitely not.
Yeah.
But I don't think of it being in some kind of three-way dance with 2 and 3. I think that's a bit much. Like, it has to. Yes, each one has their faults and their pros, but this has to edge out for me either 2 or 3. I don't know which one at this time because it has been a bit since I've seen 2 and 3.
Yeah.
But for me personally, it's hard for me to say that this one is the worst of them all or that it's second place even. Like, no, one of the other two, 2 and 3, definitely beat it out. I just don't know which. Like, maybe I would go the first Men in Black, the second Men in Black, International, and then Men in Black 3.
Right.
But you're on the fence between these last 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I really wouldn't know how to rank them because like I like these movies, but they're not like one of my all time like favorite series. So I guess it doesn't register for me as hard. I guess.
The hive, once it was established this is the creature that we're looking at, this is the bad guy, this is why the twins didn't really have crazy CG, because I thought, oh, they're saving money because of everything else going on,
Yeah.
and that's why they don't have crazy CG. No, it's because of the monster at the end.
Right.
Who,
Yeah.
no, let me tell you why I fucking loved him, Tristan. He looked like a Japanese nightmare.
Yeah.
He looked like something out of Garo.
He looked like a enemy from Final Fantasy X.
Yes. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, he looked like something out of, and not only Japanese, but like, because, you know, a lot of Japanese stuff is European inspired as well. So definitely like a Japanese lens looking at something from Lovecraft.
Yeah. Right.
Which, of course, Lovecraft makes sense as an idea because they're in the UK.
Right.
But it definitely feels like looking through a Japanese lens because, like you mentioned, Final Fantasy. I brought up Garo, which is another Japanese superhero series, a bit darker. But yeah, I've shown you a little bit of Garo. It looks like something out of that. And it had CG on top of it. I'm talking about its face specifically.
Right. Yeah.
Because it had CG on top of it, but I think that was perfect because looking at its face, I could swear to you that it could, like, actually bite me. It was real.
Yeah.
But it was CG on top of all of it. I haven't seen the behind the scenes, so maybe I'm wrong. It's all CG. But the face actually looked practical.
Yeah.
With the tentacles being CG.
Right. Yeah, and it really felt like this time around, like most of the aliens that they were going up against, like with between the twins and then the hive, like it it felt like in the originals, like yes, there were powerful aliens and like J and K were getting tossed around a bit, but I never really felt like they couldn't get the job done.
Right.
In a sense, like they were completely outclassed.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the twins first, like they were manipulating energy and like form and shape, and I was like, how are they gonna stop these guys?
And then it just turned... But I feel like that was a real, like... That was a bad one, though, because then it just
Oh,
turns
yeah.
into, oh, well, we hit it hard enough. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
everything can die with the right amount of voltage. It's like, wow, all right.
I mean, fair, but still, you
Yeah,
said that out loud.
Right, that did feel kind of like a cop-out.
But to be fair, they weren't the villains.
No, they weren't.
Which I love, even though I felt it.
Sad that the hive was completely obliterated in this. Granted, with something that big and that evil and that powerful, you can't have that staying around.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like when they were fighting that, I'm like, oh dear God, they're going to die. I don't think they've got a gun big enough to kill this one yet. I mean, I knew the weapon, you know, in the end was going to be the thing that did it, but I was like, shit, I don't know if they can do this.
I don't know, it was just... I definitely enjoyed the villain designs a lot. The
Right.
aliens, I think, were just kind of around, to be fair. None of the aliens really stood out to me, I think.
Right.
The
Yeah.
designs, they were all just kind of like CG'd around. But the villains, I mean, the initial, who we thought were villains, the twins,
Yeah.
and then the villain at the end, the hive.
Yeah, I really
Oh.
loved all of their designs. I thought those were really cool. And I'm kind of sad that they were like, it's just kind of, they'll be in this movie and then you'll never see them again.
I mean, again, they're dead, so you would never see them again anyway, to be fair.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you know, my thing is, I think that Men in Black, as we're wrapping this one up, I really do think that Men in Black can survive. I just think that they can't survive the way that Sony currently wants them to survive. Because Sony, in my opinion, has been desperately looking for a franchise in something. That's why there's all this talk of Spider-Man villains having their own standalone movies.
Right,
Not just Venom, other villains
Yeah,
like
other-
Kraven the Hunter
right.
and Morpheus, who I do like, but standalone movie, no. especially when they can't use Blade.
Right.
What's the point? So anyway, but I do think that Men in Black as a whole, even though it already came from a comic book series, it can go back to being comics. So I do,
Right.
but I think that the issue is that it's not really in Sony's department. It's based off of the Marvel comics, so Marvel like would have to strike another deal with Sony. They're already fucking dealing with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They'd have to strike another deal because I think if, in my opinion, if Sony wants to make money, they're going to be making big money like they want to off of franchises, but they could license these characters to Marvel. Because here's the thing, Tristan. I think legally, while Marvel does own the original, the rights to the original film, or the original comic, all of the film characters are arguably Sony's creation. So they can't just take like Will Smith or a character that looks like Will Smith and call him Jay and have him just be in his own Marvel Marvel Men in Black comic book.
Right.
I think they have to work with Sony.
Yeah.
So I honestly think if they want to continue this, that's how they're going to go. That's how they have to go. Men in Black comic books.
Yeah.
Because maybe a TV show on a lower budget,
Right.
like
yeah.
a very low budget, very Doctor Who-esque
Yeah.
TV show, that could work, to be fair. But if they're trying to continue either these characters or the characters of J and K, you gotta go in the comic book route, I think.
Right.
I think you can get a dedicated fan base reading that and having a good time with those adventures, some of them even brand new adventures, perhaps. Not just retellings of the first 3 movies. Brand new adventures in between. And even after Men in Black 3. I think that's how you do it nowadays. Power Rangers is thriving with comic books. Ninja Turtles, I mean, they still have their animated shows, of course, but they're thriving through comic books. I mean, there are so many... I mean, some series, Tristan, I don't know if you know about this, Superman and Buffy, the Superman series that we saw on the CW when we were younger.
Right. Yeah.
Both those TV shows got extra seasons in comic book format.
Right.
When they ended.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So it's not like it hasn't been done before.
Right.
I just really think that that's where you're going to go with this. You can't necessarily have them cross over 1-to-1 with the Marvel 616. I don't know if that's still the name of their Earth universe. That universe, you can't really have them cross over because how would the Men in Black have not already met S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Right.
But just having them be a right?
Yeah. Oh, God.
But very much like how Star Wars has its own set of comics and they're thriving.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them have been canceled, have they?
Yeah. No. Yeah. A lot of the series that I followed have been fun. Yeah.
So, look, I understand that Men in Black is not Star Wars. Men in Black is not Superman. And I don't know if it's Buffy. But I just think that at this point, it's kind of what you have to do if you want to continue this franchise at all.
Right.
Because you can't be spending millions of dollars on these movies. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Clearly, the audience has spoken. Give us the original 2, Men in Black. Or don't at all. We're done.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right.
In a way that makes me sad, in a way, but
I mean, unless you do a full reboot, which sadly I bet you that's the next thing they're gonna think of. Oh, then clearly we must do a reboot. No one wants to apparently see anybody else other than those 2 be these characters until the end of time.
Right. I would like to see one where all 4 of them teamed up. That would be interesting.
I mean, hey, if there's another one, I would dig it. Because that's the thing, too, I would like to note to everybody. I mentioned earlier, I don't like introducing the younger, newer cast with the older cast because, to me, it never balances well.
Right.
But introducing the new cast and then having them cross over, that could be fun.
Yeah.
I think it would be very fun to see her teaming up with Agent M teaming up with K and J.
Right. Yeah.
And then I think it would be Agent H just cracking jokes and just Tommy Lee Jones no-selling everything. And then Will Smith telling him how to crack a joke to make him laugh, and then Tommy Lee Jones no-selling that.
Right. Oh, God.
And Tessa giving the same look that Tommy Lee Jones gives to both of their jokes.
Right. That would be hilarious. I
Yeah.
want to see.
Oh, we forgot the most important thing.
Oh no.
There was no love story. Oh, that
Yeah,
alone might make it one of the best films I've ever seen with a man and a woman in it.
yeah, no,
Ah,
that's true. Like, I'm glad that was the thing. I'm glad their dynamic became one of mutual respect. I'm like, yes, they're both agents. You both know your shit, and granted, you get the job done in different ways, but you can both respect that. And I'm glad we finally got to that level because
yes.
I was rather worried, as we
No, I mean,
before. I was a bit worried at the beginning.
yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I'm just happy that we got to we because I was worried the way they looked at each other. They were just going to say something fucking stupid,
Right.
like, oh, like, or I thought that when oh, I hate that I keep on forgetting her name, Emma Thompson's character, Agent O.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
worried
yeah.
she was gonna be like, if you love him, tell him, and I was gonna be like, oh my god,
Yeah.
no, it was just, hey, you saw what just happened to his mentor. Shit gets
Right.
real here.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I was like, fuck. What I don't like though is the movie ending, and it's a movie, Matt, so it's gonna have a fucking movie ending. But like the movie kind of dreamy end of Chris Hemsworth character being the probational leader of the UK branch. I'm sorry, who now? He has potential, but
Yeah.
no,
I
because
feel like I just got demoted and promoted in the same sentence.
let me explain to you why this upsets me. I know that Hemsworth is 36 years old and Naruto is 10, but when one of the Hokages died and they were up for the next Hokage, they didn't look at the main character and say, you know what, there's a lot of potential in you. Go be Hokage. They didn't do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
He had to actually grow into the role. Now I know Hemsworth character is older than 10. We
Right.
don't know how old, but we're assuming he's not 10. It's just weird that it's like, yeah, now you get to run things. But not really, but like you get to run things. And I'm like, that's not like, again, if it was shown that he was being manipulated through some type of technology, to me that's not convoluted. That makes sense. That's why you're such a fucking asshole all the time. Not even, well, not an asshole, but like a incompetent ass. But the idea that all he needed was his mentor to die to just like, oh, I've grown up now.
Right. Yeah.
I think that they were just trying to, they had 2 hours and yet still it felt like they were trying to hastily wrap that up.
Right. Yeah.
Either way though, again, not the worst in the what are they, the quadrilogy now? It's
Yeah.
not the worst one.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah. So anywho, anything else you want to say before we wrap this one up, Tristan?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. So, want to thank you all so much for listening in. As always, all of our social media links are down below. It links to our Patreon as well. So, not going to go through all those right now. But again, as always, thank you all. Take care and tune in next time for another episode of either Friday Night Movies or something else entirely. Again, we're uploading our backlog, so you might see a new episode of something up every day. Honestly, it's an old episode, but it'll be new for you. So either way, take care. And if you want access to all of our archive stuff, like now, to download, listen to on the go, definitely check out our Patreon. All right, so love y'all. Take care. See ya.
And just remember to look up. You mean in accounting?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yes.